following the Whole Women's Health Hellerstedt case that went through the Supreme Court. So can I get your take on how that decision could impact things here in Iowa?
Okay. Which case is this again?
The Texas abortion case that ruled against the regulations of surgical center standards and doctor admitting privileges in local hospitals.
Well, I don't think it'll have any effect on Iowa because we didn't have a law similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that particular Supreme Court decision having an effect, but obviously, there have been a lot of court decisions going way back to the Roe versus Wade decision back in 1973, and different cases have gone different directions. And I guess this particular one, Texas had a much more restrictive law with regard to doctors having credentials with hospitals in the area in order to perform abortions. But we don't have those kind of restrictions in Iowa. In fact, the Iowa Supreme Court, much to my chagrin, sided with Planned Parenthood against our Board of Medicine on restrictions on telemed abortions. And we're one of very few states in the country where telemed abortions are legal. So I don't see that particular court decision having any direct impact here.
Mm-hmm. I spoke with the state legislator, Jason Schultz, out of Schleswig, and he came up with a bit of a proposal to put in personhood rights starting from conception to make it so that crimes can't be committed against those people. And so that's something that he would like to see go into the next legislative session. Is that something that you could see supporting?
Well, first of all, I always reserve judgment on any bill introduced in the legislature. First of all, they can change a lot through the process. So this is one representative making a proposal, and obviously for a bill to become law, it has to pass both the House and the Senate. We have a split legislature, and so I'm very careful about taking a position on a bill that is just introduced by one legislator because it can change dramatically through the process. And if you take a position, then people say, well, so you want to be very careful about not being inconsistent. And that's why my general reaction to any legislation is to reserve judgment until I see it in its final form, because through the legislative process it can change pretty dramatically.
Mm-hmm. I know that your support could be something that could help to get more people on board. Do you see that? How much support would you like to see it?
I'm pro-life, and I want to do what I can to encourage things that can protect the lives of unborn children, and yet I also recognize that we have to live with the restrictions that have been placed on the states by the courts. So we have to balance those two. I want to do what can be done, but I want to make sure what we're doing is legal and has a good chance to be upheld through the court system.
Would you like to see there be a complete end to abortion? Do you see any exceptions that could be put in place, or what's your stance on that?
Well, generally I'm encouraged by the fact that we're seeing the number of abortions decline, and we're seeing a growing number of young people, especially with the improved technology and the information that pregnant women have been able to get about the development of their children. I mean, even with my new grandchildren now, we know before they're born what their sex is. We know, for instance, that my daughter-in-law is expecting a baby boy. It's supposed to be born, and we've known this for months. In fact, we found out the day that Iowa was playing Villanova in the basketball tournament. This is the day we had the gender unveiling luncheon at Terrace Hill that day. So, and I think because of the information and knowledge of the development of children, that more and more people have come to the realization that especially later term abortions are not good, and that you're really destroying life.
kind of on the same tone of the developing education technology, there was the move to end Medicaid reimbursements to those facilities that do perform abortions. What about the risk to defunding those facilities? They do perform those other family planning.
Well, I think that we should provide family planning money to organizations that don't perform abortions. And there are many that are available. Senator Ernst has recommended that at the national level. I recommended that at the state level. I support what the House of Representatives attempted to do in this last session of the legislature, and will continue to support that position and work with legislators that are seeking to get that done. Senator Branstad blocked that in the Senate, but he didn't let him come. He really basically, although one of his members I know is on record for it, it didn't get through the Senate. But I suspect that will be an issue again.